Hi! Within this lecture, we're going to see how to run Beaf in an external environment. So we have already installed Beaf on our Ubuntu server, but we need to change some settings before we go on and run the Beaf. And in order to do that, we have to change something called configure.yaml. If you run ls, you will see this configuration file in here under Beaf folder. So we have to edit this file. And this is basically a text file, so I'm going to use leafpath for editing this file, and apparently leafpath isn't available on the Ubuntu machine. So I can install this, but I don't want to deal with that, so I'm going to use nano in order to achieve this. So I will say nano config.yaml, and it opened config file for me. So let me browse a little bit to see what can I change. As you can see, my default user and password is Beaf, and I'm going to change it, because when I run Beaf on an external environment, Beaf will just say you cannot use the default username and password. So I changed the username and the password. So let me go down a little bit to see the other configurations as well. Since Beaf is configured to run on the local host at default, we have to change it. Okay? As you can see, there are a lot of options, and we need to find one starting with database, and here it is. As you can see, the database host has the value of localhost by default. So I'm going to delete this, and I'm going to paste my IP, my server IP, in this line. So let me copy it from my email here. Okay, say copy, and come back to my Kali Linux and paste the value in here. So the port, the name, the user, and everything can stay the same. Of course, you can change them as well, but I'm going to leave that as it is. So if I scroll down a little bit, then I will come to the end of the file where I see the Metasploit framework. By default, this is false, and I'm going to change it to be true in order to use the Metasploit extensions as well. In fact, in this section, I'm not going to use any Metasploit commands, but if you want to use later on, you will have to change it to true. So I believe right now we are okay. Let me scroll up a little bit to see if I can change something else, but I believe this is okay. In order to save the changes, I'm going to hit Ctrl O on my keyboard and hit Enter to say okay, overwrite this file, and then hit Ctrl X to get out of this nano. Right now we are done with this configuration file, but then I'm going to go into the extensions folder to find the Metasploit framework configuration as well. So in here we have different folders. I'm going into the Metasploit, and then I'm going to nano into this config.yaml one more time. So this is completely different configuration file than before. This only concerns the Metasploit extensions, so we need to change this as well. In the first part, we have the host as localhost one more time. So let me try and reach here, okay, to the host part. For a reason I cannot see it, and yeah, here it is, the host part. As you can see, it is 127.0.0.1, which is our local host. So let me delete this and paste the value that I have copied before. So it has to be like this. So this one, callback host, again delete this and paste the value of host one more time. After doing this, let me scroll down a little bit and see if anything is wrong with this path. And as you can see, this has the path to the Metasploit framework for different Linux distributions. And in Kali we have Metasploit in here, but in custom we do not have that. So I'm going to write this as Kali Linux. Okay, I'm going to say user share Metasploit framework. In fact, I don't even have Metasploit framework in this machine. If you want to use Metasploit framework with Beaf, you have to install this, but I'm not going to do this very complicated way. I'm going to make it simple. So I'm just showing you the further configurations if you want to dig deep into the Beaf in an external environment later on. So Control O and Control X to get out of this as well. Right now our configuration is ready. Now I have to run Beaf, okay? And I cannot run this in Metasploit. Let me cd ... and go into Beaf and see the Beaf in here. When I run ls, as you can see, I have Beaf in here. If I say /beef, it will run the Beaf for me. Now it starts to run, and after it's done, it will share me the sample links. And I need those sample links to run the Beaf and also to hook the victims as well. As you can see, this is now running in the Ubuntu machine, and it has the IP address of Ubuntu in the sample links as well. So we have the hook URL and we have the UI URL as well. We're going to use this hook URL later on. Right now I just want to open the control panel. So right click on this link and say open link. And here we have the Beaf running on our server, as you can see. So the username is the one that you have changed, okay? It's not Beaf anymore. And once I give my username and password, here it is. Here I see the control panel of Beaf running on my Ubuntu machine. So I'm going to stop here, and within the next lecture we're going to see how to use this hook URL in order to run JavaScript code on the victim browser.